Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital's Drew Cain, Cameron Matheson, has really done it this time. He got Monica Quartermaine, Leslie Charlison, to officially kick him out the family. And who could blame her? The son she adopted as an adult turned out to be someone she would never want to associate with, which means at this point, she has joined most of Port Charles. Smarmy congressman steals nephew's wife. Might sound like a headline for The Invader, but it's true to life, at least Port Charles life. However, that's not the worst thing Drew has done lately. As Drew salivated over destroying the family crypt, all anyone could talk about was how Tracy Quartermaine's, Jane Elliott, brother and parents were in there. But Edward Quartermaine, John Ingle, Leela Quartermaine, Anna Lee, and Alan Quartermaine, Stuart Damon, aren't the only Qs in that crypt. Let's not forget about A.J. Quartermaine, Sean Cannon, and Emily Quartermaine, Natalia Livingston, plus one other very important person in Drew's life, Oscar Nero Garin Stitt. That's right. Drew wanted to bulldoze the building where his son is interned. Who could do such a thing? Who would want to destroy the final resting place of their own father, much less their own son? That should be the headline in every paper in Port Charles and beyond. Freshman congressman destroys son's final resting place for revenge. Why was nobody in Port Charles talking about this during the week's worth of scenes regarding this mausoleum on the Quartermaine grounds? Did the writers forget that Oscar is also in that crypt? How can Drew keep talking about the son he lost to cancer when he was willing to bulldoze a building around his body? He was even giddy at the thought just to stick it to Tracy. Trina was highly involved with this story and was Oscar's good friend at one time. Should she have not mentioned that her old pal was in that crypt when she live-streamed Tracy's protest with Emma Scorpio Drake, Brading Bruner? When Drew is finally brought down, you know it has to happen soon. Maybe someone should remind him what he wanted to do to his son Mac. Drew Cain was once the hero of Port Charles, a Navy SEAL, a devoted father, a man who had lost years of his life but fought his way back. He had been the righteous contrast to his twin brother, Jason Morgan, a man of honor rather than a ruthless enforcer. But life had a way of changing even the strongest souls. And when the world pushes a man to his limit, sometimes he pushes back harder than anyone expects. The breaking point. It had been a slow descent, one fueled by betrayal, loss, and a thirst for vengeance that Drew had long suppressed. The seeds of darkness were planted when Victor Casabine took him, twisting his mind with programming that, while supposedly undone, had left behind a whisper of something sinister. The moment came when Drew found himself betrayed by those he had trusted most, people who claimed to love him but had used him, lied to him, and left him to rot. Carly had promised him a future, but she was drawn back into Sonny's orbit as always. Sam had moved on, and his relationship with Scout felt like borrowed time. The company he fought to rebuild, Aurora, was slipping away to corporate sharks who viewed him as nothing more than an obstacle. And worst of all, Jason had returned, alive, well, and immediately reclaiming the role Drew had tried to fill in his absence. Drew Cain was done being the nice guy. The ultimate betrayal. Port Charles had underestimated him. They had dismissed him as the lesser twin, the one who lacked the edge, the steel that made Jason so formidable. But what they failed to realize was that Drew had something Jason never did, a true hunger for justice, for retribution. And he would get it, no matter the cost. The first piece of his plan came in the form of ELQ, the Quartermaine family's crown jewel. Michael Corinthos had fought hard to keep it away from Valentin Cassadine. But Drew had a different idea. He worked in the shadows, pulling strings, manipulating stockholders, and playing a long con that even Valentin would admire. In the end, ELQ was his to do with as he pleased. And then, in a move that shocked even the most seasoned power players, he sold it. To the highest bidder. Not to Valentin, not to Ned, not even to Michael, but to a ruthless conglomerate with no allegiance to the Quartermaines. The family's legacy, the thing that had defined them for generations, was gone in the blink of an eye. The fallout was immediate. Monica was devastated. Michael was livid. Ned was left scrambling. But Drew wasn't finished. Jason Morgan's worst nightmare. Jason had always been the golden boy, the enforcer who somehow held the moral high ground despite his ties to the mob. But Drew knew the truth. Jason had always been a man who followed orders, who existed in the shadow of sunny Corinthos, a loyal soldier with no will of his own. And Drew was tired of being in his shadow. So he did what no one expected. He took Sunny's empire. It started small. Strategic moves that no one paid attention to. Key figures in the Corinthos organization began to disappear, some arrested, some forced into retirement, others simply vanishing without a trace. Sunny was distracted, dealing with personal drama as usual, and by the time he realized what was happening, it was too late. Drew had taken over his business, not to run it, but to dismantle it. To leave Sunny with nothing, to make him watch as everything he built crumbled at his feet. Jason tried to stop him. He confronted Drew, expecting his brother to back down, to return to the noble man he had once been. But that man was gone. "You always thought you were the strong one," Drew said, his voice calm, his eyes cold. "But strength isn't about taking orders, Jason. It's about making the hard choices. And I just made the hardest one of all." With that, Drew delivered the final blow. Evidence, carefully gathered and planted, was sent to the authorities, tying Sunny to crimes he couldn't talk his way out of. The once untouchable king of Port Charles was arrested, and this time, no deal with the feds could save him. The fallout. Port Charles was in chaos. The Quartermains were fractured, their empire in ruins. Jason was left picking up the pieces, struggling to protect the people he cared about from the destruction Drew had unleashed. Carly was reeling, betrayed in a way she never saw coming. And Sunny was gone, left to rot in a cell he would never escape. Cain had done the impossible. He had reshaped the city, torn down its most powerful players, and in the process, become something no one had ever imagined. A true Cassadine. Because in the end, it had been Valentine's voice in his ear, Helena's legacy whispering in his mind. The programming Victor had tried to erase had never truly been gone. It had simply been waiting. And now, Port Charles belonged to him. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.